Have you ever walked into a room where there's a ton of people and you look for that corner where no one is going to disturb? You look for that corner where you can just stay with your thoughts. Have you ever made up excuses so that you could not go and hang out with your friends? You just want to be quiet in a corner in your room, maybe reading a book or rummaging your thoughts. And there's always someone who told what's wrong with him or her. How will he mix with people, especially if you are from Indian or a Southeast Asian background? How will he talk to people? How will he grow up in life? If you have felt like that, don't worry, you're not alone. You're just an introvert and there's nothing wrong with you. Just remember the film, like if you have watched Tare Zameen Par, and over there Tertiary looks at alphabets and they go swirling and swirling and swirling. That was actually me when I go into a crowd or amongst relatives. I just don't know what to say. And the weird part is, this is the problem of more than 50% of us because you are an introvert. And added to that, sometimes you are neurodivergent. Like me, I have Asperger's, but it was always not that easy. In fact, it's still not easy. When you grow up in an Indian household, you're expected to be outgoing, talk with people, mix with people. People who do not mix are often counted as antisocial. You've often heard people calling you arrogant, rude, and misunderstood half of your life. These are people who find it very hard because you tend to overthink. You have a way of thinking beyond reason. You don't think at the surface level. In fact, there's a very great book on introverts called Quiet by Susan Cain. I was just reading this and it's awesome. If you're an introvert, you should definitely check out this. Now, Susan Cain tells that we as introverts function differently. We get stimulated differently. So the reaction is often very different. Now, there are classes of introverts. Like some do not want to talk. Some call themselves introvert and are not introvert. But for others who really have a problem, take me for example. I come from a small town. I was okay in studies, but pathetically when it comes to relationships, talking with people. After so long in life, I am running a marketing agency, but I had to go through hell to find myself, because at the beginning you will find no support. You will only get rebuked. Even your parents won't understand you. And that's the bottom line, because our society is prepped for extroverts. Leadership is loud noise. Even the famous psychologist Gabor Mate had told, we often suppress our inner authentic selves to survive in a society that glorifies noise. And that's exactly what many of you do. That's why when you're growing up, I didn't find voices which would tell that this is completely okay and there's nothing wrong with you. That's why I want to begin a channel, and for me it is actually a huge step being an introvert to in front of the camera. This channel is for neurodivergent people, misunderstood introverts, people who I would just want to share my experiences, mostly failures, and how I coped with it, how you can cope with your own feelings, how you can survive in a sea of extroverts. Because quietness, this is not a trend or a phase like people or parents or even psychologists these days tend to put it. There's lots of depth to introverts. Most of the people I could trust with my life right now are introverts. All of them have been misinformed, all of them have sour experiences, all of them still suffer. But no one wants to talk about it. Why? Because what will society think? You do not need to think about that. I wanted to make this channel, and I'm sure you will have a lot of experiences, especially as an introvert. I like to help you with books, how you can manage your life systematically with processes. I would love to hear experiences, because no one is talking about this. Not everyone wants to go hang out in the party. Some do, good for you. Some don't. Not all want to go out on a weekend. Not all want to go clubbing on a weekend. Introverts tend to be real, so it's very different for them to put up a facade. So that problem eats you up in your job, how you go forward. And it's very, for me, it was very difficult. Very, very difficult. I would take people for their literal selves. I could not get sarcasms. When jokes were made on me, I took them literally, and it crapped the hell out of me from anxiety, stress. So I want to talk about that. I want to help people, and I want to get your experiences in. That's who this channel is for, the introverts who are not out. I'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned for more.